Hi, I'm King. This is Frankly K, and you're watching Frankly Financial, where awareness and clarity means power. So, hi, welcome. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. And, both of you, subscribe. If you've come here more than once, you should just subscribe because, that way you won't miss a video. Not like I'm posting every day, but when I do post, you'll be able to know that I've posted instead of having to come search for it. It can come to you. I can come to you. So go ahead and subscribe. It'll be over there. Thanks. And leave a like and a comment. If you don't know what to say or don't have anything to say, just say hi. Or leave a smiley face. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about two separate things. I'm going to do bad news, then good news. It's now a slight bit old news that venture capital Fearless Fund, who got their contest blocked by the Supreme Court because a DEI, an anti-DEI activist group, decided that they were being discriminatory by targeting only Black women for their investment funds. Now, if you don't know what Fearless Fund is, it's a venture capital fund. Like, it's a venture capital business for profit. It is not a nonprofit, which can make those delineations, I believe. But for profit, that's why they got the ruling the way they wanted. But the hypocrisy, right? The hypocrisy is that Business 101 tells you to basically, it's put, depending on your professor or your book or wherever you learned your business from, hopefully not TikTok, it was the line, I'm paraphrasing the line, but it's in different ways. They say the same thing, which is you find a hole and you fill it. So basically you get a niche or something that's underserviced, not serviced at all. Find a need and then service that need, fulfill that need, make the thing for that need. Fearless Fund did that by realizing that statistically, these numbers have been put out here not by Fearless Fund, but according to statistics, 1% of venture capital goes to Black women entrepreneurs, even though they are the fastest growing demographic to be entrepreneurs. Supreme Court and this anti-DEI activist group are saying is that Fearless Fund is doing business the business way and they don't like it. And it only can ask you why. And you all know why. I don't have to ask you why. You all know why. I don't have to sit here and spell it out for you. And if you're really here trying to say that Fearless Fund was being, discriminatory, that's exactly what they were being. They were being discriminatory on purpose because of the nature of capital, like the nature of the way investments flow and the way capital is being handed out and how it's not being given to Black women entrepreneurs. So of course they were going to use discrimination to make sure that they were funding the forgotten entrepreneurs. Find the hole and fill it. Okay, so now we have to ask ourselves, well, what should they do? And a lot of the comments in many of the posts that I saw, a lot of the comments are basically being like, turn it into a for-profit. And I'm here to tell you that turning a profit business into a for-profit just so you can continue what they have described as discrimination, it's not going to be as easy as that. Let me tell you how to become a for-profit, okay? First of all, the for-profit company, in this case Fearless Fund, would have to give up its ownership. The Black women that own that and wanted to service other Black women, they would have to give that up. Say bye. Because now it needs like a board of trustees or something like that. I don't know. It's like something for profits. You can have owners. Nonprofits can't have direct owners. So there's like a club of people that are running the thing, and then it becomes like a legal entity. So it becomes like its own body, and then the people that work there just kind of govern it. And that's why profit can't be its main goal, because now it's like a tool of the law. I don't know how to explain it, but that's how I understand it. It's like a tool of the law. And then there's the whole taxes thing. They would have to figure out how they're going to be a for-profit, redo their taxes, restructuring all of that, whole new formation. And the point is, they've worked so hard to become a venture capitalist fund. Like, they've become so successful in what they're doing. That's the whole reason they got the attention of these haters. I don't feel like they should have to dissolve their company just because somebody's a racist. I don't know how they're going to get this appeal. I don't know law, right? So it's like, as someone who does law, when you're like corporate law, when you're fighting against a discrimination, when you've been said that you're doing discrimination, how essentially do you prove that you are but you aren't? They were playing on semantics with this. This is how they sound. They sound like, oh, you know, I am a store and I'm a for-profit store and I only sell clothes with specific body types, right? Like, they're in a wheelchair, or they have one leg, or one arm shirts, you know, stuff like that. I realized that nothing was being made for them. So I got up and I made this store. It's for profit. We only sell these clothes. And somebody with 2 legs, 2 arms, walking on their 2 feet comes in and it's like, why you don't make any clothes for me? And you're like, well, you know, this is a specialty store. I only make these kinds of clothes. And then they take me to court for not servicing them, right? Because I won't sell them anything because I don't have anything for them. I'm like, well, you know, none of this is really, you really don't need to buy this shirt. You know, this is one of our shirts do come in a limited amount, because venture capital places, they don't just have money pouring from the sky. You know, they have to get investors to invest in them in order to give out investments, right? So basically, I'm like, well, I work with, you know, directly with people who want to, you know, make clothes for this specific demographic of people and body types. Like, this is who I make clothes for. So I really don't have any extra clothes to be selling you. You know, we only get a certain amount of clothes made because they're handmade. They're handmade clothes. We only get a certain amount every month. I really don't feel comfortable selling it to you when I have my actual clientele that needs to be serviced. And that's why I have this store. So then they go take me to court and they win because of discrimination. That is exactly what happened with Fearless Fund. They were they were successfully patching the hole in this market that left Black women entrepreneurs and other women of color, because apparently there were other women of color that got these funds and stuff, but they did have a specific contest, which is what got blocked. The contest did get blocked, and it was specifically for Black women. So that's another key point that people might have overlooked, that this contest block, so it doesn't shut down the company. They can't not operate, as far as I understood, unless I misunderstood something, which is entirely possible. That's exactly what happened with them. They found this hole. They found a neglected demographic. They went and fixed it in the only way that they knew how, like doing business, and then got penalized for it. So back to becoming a nonprofit. I don't think that that's the answer for Fearless Fund, although I do understand why people are saying it. People are also saying that Fearless Fund should just do it. Just go and be discriminatory, but do it quietly. And I don't think that's really going to solve the problem. Now, do I think it's a good idea? Kind of. But the point is, they wanted to be able to be visible and vocal for the Black women entrepreneurs. That was the whole point of Fearless Fund. Like, their name is Fearless Fund. How are they going to start acting scared to say what they've been doing out loud? And I completely understand the whole moving in silence thing, right? Like, the moving in silence is often best. You can get a lot done. However, I don't think that's the best option for Fearless Fund. Now, what will they do? I don't know, but I follow them on Instagram, and so should you. And let's also talk about, now we're talking about Fearless Fund having to change their whole business structure. It is not easy to qualify as a venture capital fund. That is not a business that you can just get up and start unless you have millions of dollars. Like, you'd have to be a literal millionaire, billionaire in order to just get up and start a venture capital fund. This is something that requires millions of dollars. And I think the SEC is updating how much money you have to qualify as a venture capital fund. It's probably 12, I think it said 12 million. check and see. So like, just think about that. The fact that they got this far to qualify as a venture capital fund just for some snotty-nosed little anti-DEI activist group to come in there and be like, we don't like that you're doing business. There it is. I got their name for you because I like to call best people out. It's the American Alliance for Equal Rights, and they go by just Alliance, aka the KKK. They reinforce the ongoing legal scrutiny and risk of programs that exclude certain groups based on race, even if the programs seek to address or remediate historical race discrimination. Listen to yourself. You're trying to act like you're being a chaotic good when this is really just lawful evil. That's what this is. Like, don't mistake this for chaotic good. This is lawful evil. You know you wrong because you know that the whole reason that they're discriminating by race is because a race has been excluded and discriminated against. Venture capital funds don't only just do money. Sometimes they do mentorship. They give connections. There's a lot of networking that's involved so that you can really step into the business world and find manufacturers, suppliers, different kind of distributors, other people that are in the business so you can talk about proci. Stuff like that. So it's a leg up in the business world, being able to win these kinds of contests, or even just to get there and pitch and actually be heard. And it's really important. And the fact that they did this to this contest because it was on race is so wild to me, because only in an egalitarian, like a fantasy society, because we don't live in an equal sized society, and they're pretending that we live in a society that they're trying to make equal. But you can't try to make something equal when it's already off balance. You need to bring it to balance first before you start shutting down things that address inequality. It's like, that makes no sense. I should tell y'all, if you don't know what a venture capital is, a venture capital fund, all right, I wrote it down. I got the description from Investopedia. Venture capitalist. Venture capital fund is like stuff funded by venture capitalists. A venture capitalist is a private equity investor who provides capital to companies with high growth potential in exchange for an equity stake. So, for example, Shark Tank. Shark Tank is essentially a venture capital fund where you go in there, you pitch your idea to these people with some money, and they, if they like it, come back at you with a number and a price that they'll give you, like the money they'll give you, and then also what they want in return. So like the loan money and like the percentage that they'll take in stake of your company. So that's what a venture capitalist fund is. You know, it's somewhere where venture capitalists put their funds. Now it sounds ridiculous to say y'all online, but business is very self-explanatory once you know the words. So there you go. A venture is like a not a movement. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a thing that you're doing, like an activity, right? In this case, a business activity, a business launching, a try. You're doing this thing. That's a venture. And then capital, as in money, and then fund, as in where you put it, and then a venture capitalist, someone funding those ventures. So once you know all the words, everything's very self-explanatory. But yeah, so that's what a venture capitalist, in case I've been throwing that word around for like 30 minutes, this is what it meant. That's news part one. Maybe we'll talk about this again as it gets updated and stuff, but just hearing about it is some bullshit. Like, the finance world is so goddamn shady. Anyway, let's end this on good news, right? And it's gonna be short and sweet. Sorry I spent the whole video being angry. And there is potential, there is movement. They are working on, and by they I mean the credit sphere, people who run credit, FICO, Experian, Transunion, Euifax. They are working on removing medical debts from your credit report. Medical bills are outrageous, and you don't always have all the money to pay them, but they like to slap your shit right onto the credit report, basically as an intimidation tactic. I'm absolutely sure everyone uses your credit report as an intimidation tactic because they know it can ruin your life. which I think is bullying. And I'm glad that medical places can no longer do it, because first of all, they should have never been included in the first place, because I feel like your credit report should be things you had options for. Medical bills are never optional. The whole reason that you have that bill now is because you're trying not to die. And I don't think that you should be penalized that you can't pay, especially when our hospital bills are outrageous. They are outrageous. Outrageous. That's the good news. So they're working on that right now. They just announced it last week. Fingers crossed it all goes well and they wipe off the idea that medical bills can go anywhere near your credit report, because it is so many people who they want to pay those medical bills, but you throw it on the credit report, you messing up people's ability to have a place to live. You messing up their ability to get a job. A lot of jobs do credit checks. Good jobs that can pay enough money to live in this fucking country, they do credit checks. So if you don't have good credit, you might be missing out on jobs. You might be missing out on a safe place to live. And then without an address, a lot of times you can't get a lot of different resources. You cannot qualify for different resources if you don't have an address or a cell phone. You can't get an address. Sometimes you can't even get a cell phone because your credit will be messed up. You can't even get a cell phone. You might be able to get like a government phone, like the Assurance wireless stuff. Maybe. I think you have to find out what's going on with that. But there are resources in the city that help with those things. And a lot of places, they'll take like a letter from a shelter saying that you're trying and stuff like that. But so yeah, so hopefully that helps a lot of people. That'll change people's lives. It might, your credit might go up about 20 points when it loses that account. Poof, when the account's gone. So think about that. 20 points is the difference between poor and good. Okay, like the little thing, if you don't know, like the thing, it says poor, and then it says like good, and it's like very good, and this is excellent. That's your little meter. And 20 points can take you from poor to the little good status, and that will open up so many doors. But what do I know? So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.